Hi my loves, thanks for returning. So as you know by the thumbnail, this video is going to be a quick review, demo, and swatches of the new Morphe 35M palette. I really do like this palette. Initially, I had not planned on getting this, but I saw a lot of folks on the YT doing some beautiful looks with this palette, so I decided to check it out. During this video, I'm going to do a quick demo. I'm going to talk a little bit about it and show you all the swatches. I'll have the swatches floating around somewhere on the screen as well as the palette. So let me just kind of give you some quick specs on this palette. As you know, it has some mattes and shimmers and metallics and things like that. It runs for $24 at Ulta. Now, as you know, Ulta has all the time those $3.50 coupons that you can get on non-prestige items, so that right there knocks the price down. I think that overall it's a good palette for the price. I do find that some of the shades swatched a little bit patchy and some of the metallics and shimmers were a little bit dry, but that's never been anything to bother me. And as you all know, swatches are not an indicator of how a eyeshadow is going to apply. I do like showing swatches when I do reviews because that shows what the color actually looks like, especially if you're wondering how those shades look on a certain skin tone. So I never mind showing swatches, but I always do like to say that they are not an indicator of how a shadow is going to apply. Now, I have to say that I did have to build up the matte shadows, and I did set my eyelids with a powder before I applied the shadows. And with this look, I did use two of my ink lot shades. I used like a bone shade, a bone white shade as my brow bone highlight, as well as a lilac kind of color. And here it is right here, which you really can't see. And I just kind of use that to buff the shadows out and blend them out and just kind of get a more seamless look. So I think that's pretty much it that I can say about this palette. Would I recommend it? Definitely, but don't expect much at the end of the day. However, it does have some really pretty colors. If you're into these type of shades, I would say go for it and just kind of have fun with it. After all, it's only makeup. So I'm gonna move along. Like I said, this is just going to be a quick review of me showing you the swatches, showing you the palette, and this demo is going to be quick as well. Hope you'll stay around for it, and until my next video, smooches. So I decided to go in with the purple eyeshadows, and since there are not a lot of light colored purple eyeshadows, I am going to use two of my ink lot eyeshadows. I'm just going to go ahead and use that color as my brow bone highlight, and I'm just going to put that up here. And I typically like to use a matte shade as my brow bone highlight. I know some people use shimmers. It's just strictly up to the person if you ask me of what they like to use. Alright, so I have my brow bone highlight applied, and I'm just going to go in with this light mauve type of color, and I'm gonna apply that. And this shade is really light, and I'm not even sure if you all can see it. All right, so I have that applied, and I don't even think that is showing up, so I'm just gonna go in with my next shade from the Morphe palette, and I'm hoping that these apply better than the Vault, at least for me. Some people had problems with it and some people didn't. I was one of those folks that did. Except for Ring the Alarm. That one worked okay for me. So I'm just going to bring the shadow out just a little bit right here. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the same shade on the other side. And I'm also going to bring my shade down into the corner like this because I am going to do a cut crease. Alright, so I'm going to go in now with that darker purple, and I'm just going to use the same brush, and I'm going to apply it in the crease. Continue to apply it in the crease. And if it's looking a little patchy, I am going to go in and blend it out. I'm just trying to get the color applied on the lid. And this is getting very intense. I didn't expect that, or I didn't want it to look quite this dark, but we just gonna keep it moving. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the previous purple, and I'm going to kind of use my color switch. I'm gonna go in with the previous purple shade and go back in and try to blend the line out. And I had no intentions on buying this palette. I did go into Ulta to kind of check it out, and when I saw it and swatched it, I thought it was extra pretty. It's very pretty. It's prettier in person. All right, so I'm gonna get some of that color off of my brush and just kind of blend this out at the center, because I'm about to do my cut crease, or cut the crease. And I'm just going to use a regular little concealer that I have to cut my crease. Alright, so now that I have my crease cut how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and start in with one of these metallic shades. Alright, so now that I have my crease cut, I'm going to use the black in the outer corner. And the black seems to be a pretty good black. And don't worry, all that's going to be cleaned up. And for my eye highlight, I'm going to use, I don't want to use the gold. I think I'm going to use the green. And even though it is green, it's coming off as gold as I apply it, and that's probably because it's mixing in with the purple. I'm going to go ahead and do my complexion and my eyeliner. So see you in a few. So this is it. This is the final look. The only thing that I added was the eyeliner, and the purple that I used on my inner eye, I just brought that down on my lower lash line, and then I lined it with the black eyeshadow, and that pretty much gave me the final look. So I'm happy with how everything turned out, and I'm actually glad I bought this palette. The pictures to me really don't do it justice. The palette really looks so pretty in person. If you're interested in this palette, go on over to Ulta and check it out. You might like it. And as you know, Morphe is not a prestige brand, so you can definitely use those $3.50 coupons that they always have towards the palette and get you a few bucks off. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to check out my thoughts on this palette, and until my next video, smooches.